Welcome to Geeky Philosopher, where we turn the world's most powerful books into timeless wisdom for the modern mind. Today's book might sound rude, but its message is raw, real, and needed more than ever. We're diving into The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, a brutally honest take on happiness, personal growth, and how to stop caring about all the wrong things. This isn't your typical self-help book. Mark Manson doesn't sugarcoat anything. He tells you straight up, life is hard, you're not special, and you're gonna die. But that's exactly why it matters what you choose to care about. Let's begin. The core idea of this book is simple. You have a limited number of things you can give a fuck about, so you need to carefully choose what you care about, because most people are wasting energy, emotion, and time on things that don't really matter. Mark Manson calls this subtle because it's not about giving up. It's about giving up on things that don't matter, so you can truly focus on the things that do. Most of us are constantly trying to be positive, happy, and successful. And in doing so, we obsess over every little thing. But the truth is, constantly chasing happiness actually makes us miserable. Trying to be exceptional all the time makes us feel inadequate. Trying to avoid pain makes us fragile. So what's the alternative? It's to accept that life is messy, that pain, failure, rejection, and discomfort are not problems to be solved. They are part of the process. You can't care about everything, and if you try to, you'll burn out. Mark Manson says, the key to a good life is not giving a fuck about more. It's giving a fuck about less, only focusing on what is true and immediate and important. One of the book's biggest takeaways is this: not all problems are bad. We tend to think happiness is a life without problems, but, that's just false. A better life doesn't mean having fewer problems. It actually means having better problems. Let's say you're broke. That's a problem, right? You want more money. So you work hard, maybe get a promotion, and even start a business. Great. But now you've got new problems: deadlines, pressure, taxes. You didn't get rid of problems, you just upgraded them. So stop chasing a problem-free life. Instead, choose problems that are actually worth suffering for. So ask yourself, what pain do I want in my life? What struggle am I willing to endure? That's honestly a more honest and useful question than just asking, what do I want? Because, everything has a price. Every dream comes with its own cost. Want to be a YouTuber? Well, be ready for long nights, editing stress, and algorithm anxiety. Want to be fit? Get ready to sweat, lift, and skip the pizza. If you love the process, you've chosen the right problem. Another key lesson from this book is about responsibility versus fault. A lot of people get stuck in victimhood. Something bad happens and they think it's unfair. And honestly, maybe it is. But guess what? Mark Manson says you are always responsible for how you respond to your circumstances, even if it's not your fault. You can't control everything that happens, but you can always control what you do next. Responsibility isn't blame, it's power. Someone hurt you? That's not your fault, but, healing is your responsibility. You lost your job unfairly? That really sucks. But getting back up is still on you. When you take responsibility, you take your power back. The book also challenges the obsession with being, exceptional. Social media teaches us that everyone's doing better than us. Someone's richer, happier, smarter, fitter, and we feel like we're failing. But, Manson says, that's all an illusion. Most of us are average at most things, and honestly, that's okay. Being average is not an insult, it's just a reality. In fact, accepting your ordinariness is actually pretty liberating, because once you stop needing to be amazing at everything, you can finally focus on what truly matters. You get to spend your energy getting better at the few things that really bring meaning to your life. Trying to be special all the time, man, that's just exhausting. Instead, just be real, be consistent, and most importantly, be true to your values. Speaking of values, that's another massive theme of the book. What you give a fuck about should be rooted in good values. But, most people choose values like being liked, being right, feeling good all the time, always being busy, or never failing. These are bad values, because they're dependent on things you can't control. Good values, on the other hand, are based on internal reality: honesty, responsibility, curiosity, resilience, and creativity. When you choose better values, your problems get better, your choices get clearer, and your life gets simpler. Manson also emphasizes one uncomfortable but freeing truth: you're going to die. He doesn't say this to scare you, but to wake you up. Most people live like they have forever, but they don't. And once you face the truth of your mortality, life starts to matter more. You stop wasting time. You stop caring about petty drama. You stop needing everyone to approve of you. Because you realize, none of that will matter in the end. Death puts life in focus. It forces you to ask, what really matters? And that's the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Alright, let's just quickly recap the key takeaways from Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. First, you have a limited number of fucks to give, so, spend them wisely. Second, life is suffering, so choose the pain that's actually worth it. Third, you can't control everything, but you are totally responsible for your choices. Fourth, you're not special, and honestly, that's good news. Fifth, upgrade your values and build them on things you can control. Sixth, face your mortality and live with urgency and clarity. And finally, stop chasing positivity. Instead, chase meaning. Thanks for watching Geeky Philosopher, where we dig deep into books that challenge your thinking and, fuel your growth. If this video made you think, made you pause, or maybe even made you laugh a little, then go ahead and hit that like button. Hey, comment below, what's one thing you'll stop caring about starting today? And don't forget to subscribe for more no-fluff wisdom every single week. You can't give a fuck about everything, right? So give a fuck about what matters. See you in the next one.